Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to my video. So I am at the park right now, and I am stuck at the park for my car because it is not cranking. It's not starting at all. And basically, I was hoping that would be a simple issue, like maybe a battery or the fuse. So what I did originally was like, okay, I went to the park. I walked around, did some jogging for about an hour, came back to my car, tried to start it, and nothing. I mean, I get nothing. All the lights come on as if it wants to start. Battery works, the radio works. It was blaring, and the heat was working. Well, the heat wasn't working, but the blower motor was blowing. So I was like, man, what could this be? Because I'm getting everything to work, and there's a lot of electricity going to the car, obviously. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, maybe it's the battery. Maybe it's a bad battery or something like that, because I haven't changed it in about 2 years. So I'm like thinking to myself, batteries, they go bad after a while, normally 4 to 5 years, but maybe, this time around my battery is just messed up or something, a defect or something like that. So I do actually have what is it? It's a battery from Walmart that I bought. It's got a 2-year warranty on it, and I think I could still probably just bring it in. So I'm like, okay, hopefully it's the battery, because Walmart's maybe a couple miles away. I'm like, fine, it's the battery. I turn on the headlights. I went out, check it out, just to check out the beams, and the beams are pretty bright to me. So I'm like, okay, well, easy fix gone. I don't think it's going to be that easy of a fix, but I was thinking maybe the battery is just low and drained, and that might be the case. So I was like, okay, gotta ask somebody for a boost, because I did, the beams look kind of bright, but you really can't tell. I mean, I've had situations where the beams look kind of bright and the battery was almost dead, and those, I didn't hear any sounds when I tried to start it. So, but I did ask this guy to help give me a jump. Asked a couple of people. Found one person who was willing to give me a jump. Put the cables on. I had cables. Put the cables on, and I tried to start it. Nothing. So I waited about 4 minutes for it to charge up. Had a bit of a conversation about car stuff. Guy probably told me it was something that I thought might have been obvious, but I really didn't think much about it, considering. So anyway, 3 minutes later, tried to start it, nothing, got nothing from it. So I'm like, okay, so here's the situation. The car did nothing, did the same thing. Everything, works fine, except for the fact that I can't get it to start up. I can't get it to crank, nothing. So I'm like, okay, it can't be the battery. Can't be the battery at this point, because gotta try getting a jump, wait, and heard nothing. Not even a small slow crank. So I'm like, fine, it's probably not the battery. And I was thinking maybe it's the alternator, but here's the thing. I've had alternator issues before, and every single time I've had alternator issues, my car pretty much died while the engine was running. This situation, my engine was not running at all. I turned the car completely off. Did something for, went to the park for an hour, ran around, and jogged around, and came back. So the car wasn't running at all. And normally in alternative situations, the car has to be running. I mean, there's maybe a rare situation where the battery dies out exactly at the point where you parked it with the alternator dead for a while, but I don't know. But I was thinking it's probably not the alternator, not the battery. So I was looking at what I did next was I popped the fuse box. And pretty much looked around. I was thinking to myself, I've had these situations with no starts before, and a lot of times it's either the fuse or the relay. I was thinking it was the relay, because I was looking for the relay to the starter. And pretty much what I did was I swapped out the relay with another relay that was on another spot. I swapped it out, And I was thinking, maybe it's the relay, but it did nothing. It did nothing. I tried to start it, it did nothing. So at that point, I was thinking, you know what? Maybe it was the other, maybe the relay that I swapped it out with. Maybe that was the important part of the car, like the PCM or whatever, the car computer is constantly not to start. I mean, I should be swapping it out with a regular, another new relay, but still, nothing happened. So I was thinking, okay, it probably isn't the relay because I wasn't hearing a click or anything like that. Normally, what the relay does is it relays electricity from the battery to the starter, and if you're hearing a click, normally it means that the solenoid in the starter is firing off. It's just that you're not getting electricity. I mean, it's just that the motor's not running. So I was like thinking to myself, okay, it's probably not the relay at that point. So I was looking at the terminal, looking at the terminals and everything, and I was thinking to myself, man, the terminals were a bit dirty. So I was thinking maybe the terminals were, but I did get a jump, and the cables were put on the terminals, but I actually took the terminals off anyway, cleaned it a bit, popped it in, and checked to see whether it worked. Nothing. Same situation. So I'm like, okay, it's not the terminals. Probably the negative line. So I was looking at the negative line. I was following the negative line, and they look clean. I mean, I took a flashlight out, checked it out. It was clean. Under the hood, it was clean. So I'm like, okay. What could it be? At this point, what could it be? Maybe it's a fuse or something like that. Maybe it's a fuse. So I was looking at the fuses. I mean, I didn't have a fuse tester on me. I was checking out the fuses just to see whether the fuses were burnt or not. Whether it was like a smell burnt in one of the fuses. Well, they all look okay. I mean, I didn't see any issues with that. So, so anyway, I was like, okay, so I can't test out the fuse. So I was thinking to myself, okay. I was thinking to myself, the other situations I've had with fuses being the culprit of issues like this was, I've had one situation where the fuse blew out on me, and I had no electricity in the car. I wasn't able to get the car started. Wasn't able to get the car turned on. Wasn't able to get any of the lights to turn on. And that was the main fuse in the fuse box that popped. But this situation is a little bit different. It's a lot different, actually. Situation, I am getting electricity in the car. I mean, I'm getting full blast electricity in the car on everything. Everything works, including the remote, power windows, everything. So that's not the situation. It's not the main fuse. I know that situation. So, okay, what else could it be? Not the main fuse. Maybe it's the whatchamacallit. Okay. Maybe it's another fuse. All right. Other situation I had with fuse was the car cranked up. Previous car I had a fuse issue where it wouldn't start. The car cranked up, but it would not turn over. It would not turn over. It would crank, but it won't turn over. Crank won't turn over. So I'm thinking to myself, this is not that situation. And that fuse was to the fuel pump. It would crank or it wouldn't turn over because there's no fuel being delivered to the engine. So I'm thinking that's not the situation here because it's not cranking at all. No cranks whatsoever. So I mean, it could be maybe another fuse dealing with the car's computer. Maybe it's not reading, but I don't have like an OBD2 to actually read that out, so I couldn't really tell. So, okay, so I'm thinking to myself, maybe it's not a fuse, maybe it is a fuse, but there's no way I could test it out at this point. So my last thing that I could possibly think of, I mean, it could be other things, but the last main thing that I could actually consider is probably the starter. Now, I didn't actually think about that because, I mean, the guy who tried to jump my car told me that it could be the starter, and it was probably the starter. I was like, no, I replaced the starter like 8 months ago. All right, probably put maybe like, I don't know, 8,000 miles, 10,000 miles on this car at most. What are the chances that, a starter that I bought from AutoZone and it looked like it was a brand new starter. It was 100% clean, although it was refurbished. And what are the chances that actually went out on me after 8,000 miles? I'm expecting like well over 100,000 miles on the starter, because it only does one job, just to start the engine. It's not on all the time, etc., etc. If you guys know anything about starters. And I'm thinking to myself, what are the chances of that? And then I remembered that I had a conversation with somebody and they told me that, when you buy a refurbished starter, which is what it was, I think it cost me like $150. I didn't want to buy a $300 starter. So basically, what they do with the starter is they'll clean it up real good. I don't know what they do. They put it in like a bath of chemicals or whatever, clean it up real good. But what they'll do is they'll find out what that component is that's broken, and they'll replace that component so that it works again. However, the rest of the starter will have the same amount of mileage because all the other parts they don't replace. They just replace that one part that has the issue. And that's refurbished. That's refurbished. And I'm thinking to myself, dang, I hope that's not the issue. I mean, I was hoping maybe they replace like all the major parts. They don't even replace all the major parts. They replace the parts that are broken, and everything else on there they'll just leave the same. Which really sucks, because I probably should have just got a I would have preferred an OEM used starter that if I knew that. But I got that 8 months ago. I was thinking, well, whatever, that's fine. But at this point, I'm thinking that's the problem, But I'm actually waiting for AAA to pick up my car right now, and I'm probably gonna waste about an hour and a half, 2 hours waiting for the tow truck to come and get this car. And I'm probably gonna either do this job myself, as far as, well, I'm gonna have to test it out. I don't know whether it's a start or not, but I'm gonna keep you guys updated. Yeah, guys, so here it is after testing it out. And I did actually spend some time. Man, it actually took AAA 3 hours to tow my car. I mean, I'm glad I have AAA, but 3 hours is ridiculous. Anyway, got it back to my house, and I did some tests on everything. Checked out the fuses. It wasn't the fuses. Checked out the relays. I actually did that test where I tested out the starter by putting two it was, you get a pin or whatever, a wire, and you put it between a positive and negative on a relay if you find it, and you could see whether the starter starts or not. Did not start. I did that. The starter did not start. So once I got to the start, I was thinking, okay, I mean, it's a really good chance at this point that it's a starter. So got to the starter. What I did was I put a line to the solenoid, solenoid terminal. I put, I kind of put a line there, and the starter did not start. So at that point, I knew it was the starter that was the issue. So basically, at that point, I took the starter out, went to AutoZone. Had a few words with them about, the starter not lasting that long, and they don't manufacture this stuff. They only sell it. So it was free. Well, the replacement was free. The replacement was free, so I got that for free. But the amount of time that I spent, as far as getting the car towed, worked on it, and stuff like that was not free. And that was the thing that actually sucks about this whole entire situation. Now, the amount of time that I have to, put in again after 8 months, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Anyway, I put it in. I was able to get the car started. It started up right up without any problems. It works. Definitely was the starter. you guys have a similar situation, you know, check out. I'm pretty sure it's your starter, but you're gonna have to test it out first and everything. It really sucks because, I mean, it's just 8. You know, it lasted 8 months. I was considering getting a brand new starter, but thought about it a bit, and I was like, free starter that is refurbished versus a $300 brand new starter, and I was like, forget about it, forget it, man. I don't forget it, man. You know, so I ended up getting the refurbished one again. Hopefully that actually works out. If you guys have any, if you guys are in the same situation, I hope this video will help you out. I really do. Please, you know, drop a comment. Please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you guys can. All right, guys.